Three, two, one, and we are live. What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up,
Party
Chandler? Hey,
people? Dude, you know what we didn't do? Is we didn't
we
connect
didn't.
our Instagrams.
Fuck Instagram, dude.
Dude. You guys
Fuck.
said anything about Big Daddy Zuck?
Did I hear something about Big
I said,
Daddy
you say
Zuck?
that
Or?
about him? I know you
Oh
spend
yeah,
a bunch of money with him. So
I do spend a good bit of money with Zuck. I don't know who owns Google, but I spend a lot more money with Google than I do with Zuck. So I'll support Google. I like Google more. We're gonna go live on YouTube. You can connect yours if you want, but let's jump into it, dude. We weren't here last weekend. What were you up to?
last weekend, dude, what was I doing? Oh, it was my girlfriend's dad's birthday. So I went up to the mountains and went hiking and hung out. So that's what I did. I just hiked every day.
I got engaged last weekend.
Oh, dude, I saw that.
So yeah, I'm
Well, you got
officially
engaged or you got married?
engaged.
I
Yeah,
thought
you would.
you already were married, bro.
Yeah, you would think so. No, we've we just like went everything out of order, bro. We had a kid. Now we're getting engaged. Now we're getting married. We should have had a kid, got married, and got engaged just to really throw it up. But no,
Honestly,
man,
that would've been time for a move.
so we're trying to figure out the next steps to move back to Estados Unidos, the good old US of A, because I think thanks guys. You guys are like, congratulations. We got some recurring guys. I see Gustavo on here a lot. Edgar, we see these guys a lot. That's cool. But yeah, we're trying to move back, dude. Tampa's a cool market. I really like Tampa. I was like dead set on Miami, and now I saw Tampa. I was like, Florida is just where it's at, dude. You got to get out of Denver. You got to come hang out in Florida. We gotta get you down there.
Dude,
start something out there.
The one thing I would like about Florida is I have so many friends down there. Like if you move down there, it would be great. But dude, I think I'd be depressed there. I might commit suicide at that point if I moved away from the mountains.
Oh, you got a beach, bro. It's even better.
Dude, I fucking hate the water in the sand. I don't know if I told you the story, bro, but I almost drowned in Ironman.
You did tell me that. Hold on. Tell the audience the story.
Dude, let's okay, so if every single one of my friends knows I hate the water, so it's kind of like a running joke. But 3 years ago, I ran a 50 miler, and I'm in the hot tub with our friend Dave Perret, mutual buddy, and he's like, "Bro, come run this Ironman with me." And I'm like, "Sure, dude, I'll do it." And so I committed to doing an Ironman like 7 months after I ran a 50 miler. Now, granted, I'm a trail runner.
Yeah,
I like that's not been a problem for me. I'm not much of a swimmer. Like I did flips and shit in the pool and cliff jump, but I'm not a swimmer. And so anyways, I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's gonna be fun. So I went and bought a bike. I rode it one time before May's the Ironman. So I've done no training at all. And I'm like, I'm gonna probably bail. And then my other buddy who's doing the race with us, his name's Craig. He convinces me to go on this bike ride with him to go run bike 50 miles and then run like 10K or something. It's like 6 miles. And so I did it. I was like, dude, this was freaking easy. Like, this is gonna be a cakewalk. And then the next day I go to that's a Saturday, right? So we're 7 days out from the event. Sunday, the next day I go get a lifetime fitness membership. So I'm like, I'll go swim. I probably should do that once before I go and swim 2.5 miles in the fucking lake. And swam 2.6 miles in the pool. It was like an hour and a half. I was like, dude, this is gonna be a cakewalk. This is gonna be so easy. And like, note to self, I literally never swam before that. So, but you get out of the water, you're like disoriented, everything. It's kind of weird. Anyways, we get to the Ironman. It's like 5 a.m. It's still dark. Telling everyone, they're like, "Oh, which Ironman did you do?" Like the last one. I'm like, "It's my first one." They're like, "Oh, have you ever open water swam?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, a lot of people die doing this." So like, this is the frame I have going into the water. People, like, 3 different people told me people die in the water. I'm like, dude, that's not cool. And I might have a little bit of anxiety. So anyways, we get in, start swimming. The water's like 50 degrees, like ice cold. All the breath completely gone from me. I can't breathe. Like I'm like, dude, I can't breathe. So I'm just swimming. At this point, I'm probably like 300-400 meters in. And I start getting tired.
Wait, first of all, hold on. Were you in a wetsuit?
Yeah.
Oh, just like the shock of the water going into your wetsuit while it was warming up. And okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
I also hate cold water. So
okay, you're not a cold plunger.
No, dude. I'm like a dip my toe in and dip my toe right back out.
Oh, Jesse Itzler would be so upset. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely am not mentally strong when it comes to cold water. I'm a bitch.
Okay.
Regardless, I get in the water, I'm swimming, but I start like, you're kind of amped up on adrenaline when you do these races because it's fucking like it's sick. You felt like you're going to a space war, like coming down the ramp into the beautiful smooth black water, and then it's like there's like mountains in the back, and then there's like sunrise that comes. It's just unbelievable. Like it's beautiful. But anyways, you feel like you're going to Space Force because everyone's got their swim caps on. And it's all they're all in black wetsuits. And mine was a little tight. It got a big neck, and swimmers are slender neck people, I guess. And so I couldn't really breathe very well out of it to begin with. And yeah, I stopped breathing, slowed down so I could breathe, and I got swam over by a few people. I started swallowing water, and I was like, then I started hyperventilating and couldn't move. And then I had to like swim like I don't even know, it was far enough away to get to the kayaks. And I just like rested there, and I like looked up, and I was like, dude, I got to swim a lot further. And
you're like, this isn't it.
I was like, dude, I literally was like, this is not it. I was like, I asked the guy, like, should I get out? And he goes, that's up to you. I was like, I can't tell you what to do. I was like, shit. So I swam to the next guy, and I like almost died on the way over there. So then I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna get out of the water. So
man, it's funny that you say that because I have a very similar story with Dave Pere. He was, first of all, did he do the Ironman?
He did not finish it, but he did do it. He started.
He
finished the swim, and he got like maybe like 40 miles in on the bike, and then he died. So we just hung out the rest of the day together.
Yeah. So he did the half iron first, and him and I. Yeah,
that was when he convinced me to do this shit.
No. Half iron. He did it. So this was during COVID.
Okay.
They canceled the actual half iron. So he's like, I'm just going to do it by myself. And he was like, hey, do you mind like follow me in the car? And like, just in case I like cramp up or something, I need somebody to pick me up. You mind follow me around? And I was like, I'm not no bitch, dude. I'm not going to follow. I'll just run it with you. I'll just do the half iron with you. Keep in mind, I hadn't ran a single second since like I was in the Marine Corps. So I don't know. It's probably a couple of years since then, right?
But
I haven't ran at all.
Like fit, probably.
Yeah, you still think you're invincible, right? I was like, oh yeah, I used to do this shit all the time. And so I was like, no, I'll just do it with you. And never rode a bike before. And also I have swam open water though. That was something that I did. So I did the swim with him. I was completely good. Yeah. And then as soon as we get on the bike, I like realized I didn't know how to pedal, and it was in California. So there's mountains. So I didn't know how to shift gears. So like it was, and then dude, I ended up
road bike.
Yeah. And I ended up falling in front of like a bunch of people in Encinitas. Like everybody's walking around the beach and just ate shit in front of a bunch of people because I couldn't get off the pedals. And then I went up and I did the run. So I didn't do a full half iron. I did the swim. I did most of the bike. I probably did. I don't know what a half iron is on the bike, but
it's like so it's 115 or something like that. So it's like 70.
Yeah, I did like 80% of it or something like that. And then I finished the run after that. I could not figure out the bike thing, and I didn't know how to shift the gears, or like I was like trying to go uphill and I was like on the heaviest gear. I was like, this thing's not moving. And so yeah, I have a very similar story with David Pere with running. I didn't do the full iron, but I did the half iron with him.
Dude, yeah, that guy he seems to throw people into things, It
gets you in trouble. Gustavo asked if anyone is wholesaling in Oklahoma. No. Are you?
No, I know a guy who does.
It's like super high cost per lead in OKC, right? One of the highest cost per leads.
Pretty high cost per lead and like pretty small cost per deal or revenue per deal.
Yeah, my assumption is, and this is so funny that you asked that question, because one of the things I was just looking at is, what are the best markets to go in for Section 8 if you're trying to do Section 8 housing? And that was one of them. Yeah. And so the guys there, their strategy, you have to be buying and holding. Like you have to be okay with just doing a buy and hold and just getting a property. And I get the game now. So I think about it this way. Like we're starting to buy some properties that we normally wouldn't buy. Like in the past couple of years, we've just been wholesaling mostly SoCal. This year we're starting to buy some stuff. And so let's say it's a $150,000 house. If I was going to wholesale it, I'd have to get it for 50 to sell it to an investor for 70. I'm just going to use some round numbers, right? Now I'll buy it for like 80, because not only am I going to get the equity in it and I get the cash flow, but also I get to do the cost seg, the accelerated depreciation on it. So I also make money on the taxes. So I finally understand being the buyer that can beat out other cash buyers, like on price, because I've never been able to do that. Like I've always my entire career, I've been one of the lower offers. You know what I mean? Because like SoCal, you're competing with flippers who don't need to, they don't have to bake in their assignment fee. There are flippers in SoCal that they just do a ton of volume. So they just do average deal size 20K. And so they really they can offer super high prices.
No wonder they all went out of business in 22.
That is true. Unfortunately, that's luckily he didn't go out of business. But one of my buddies was one of those guys who got hit pretty hard. He has a shitload. He's like 70,000 a month in cash flow coming in though on his rentals. So he's okay.
Be helpful,
Yeah. And so but like now I'm, going to these other markets. I'm like, oh, I'm the highest cash buyer in some of these. You know what I mean? Like I would literally be the highest offer and I'm happy with it because I get 75%. I get the house for a 25% discount. I put 25% down, and it's like a more of a net worth game. You know what I mean? You invest 250 grand and you buy a bunch of houses at a 75% discount. You put 25% down and you add another 320 grand to your net worth. And so that's been it's been a fun strategy that I've been implementing going into this winter. It's like, because we'll talk about some of the issues we're running into in our business, but that's the thing I'm realizing right now.
I actually like that strategy. That's an interesting strategy. So like, you're basically just saying like, what's the cash? What's the cash flow? Are you like, how positive are you putting 25% down on these? Like,
yeah, so I'll only buy it if I can actually like net cash flow $300 a month. And so, so I just created a ChatGPT prompt. It's on my phone. Like literally, I'm just sitting here like underwriting properties all day. But it will go through, and I can actually let me see if I can find it. I was just underwriting some properties earlier today. I think I'm going to be buying 2 today. Actually, the 2 houses that we're going to be holding on to. But it will take vacancy, it will take OpEx, it will take any of the turnover. It'll do all of that for me. And then the cool thing about ChatGPT is it will actually go out and find the property taxes for the house. If you're running anything on agent mode, and it gives you accurate insurance. So it'll say, for example, it gave me like an insurance quote on a Section 8 property versus a normal rental. Apparently insurance companies, according to this in this county, like Section 8 properties better. And then obviously, like if I found something, I'm not buying in Florida, but if I found something in Florida, it's going to give me, $10,000 a month in insurance. Obviously not that high, but
you pay the whole price of the home every year.
Yeah, the insurance costs the same amount as the house. It's crazy, the insurance stuff in Florida. So, I'm staying out of flood zones, but I'm just buying in like Springfield and Birmingham, Alabama. I may buy some rentals in Atlanta. So I did see there was one that I made an offer on today, and so I say my team made an offer on today for a rental that I might buy in Atlanta as well. So I'll be kind of like spread out, but that's the game, man. I kind of forgot for a couple of years why I got into this business in the first place, and I just started like wholesaling everything and put my head down. I was like, I got into this business to buy rental properties. That was the reason. That's the real reason, because you can't exit a wholesaling business. So it's your only strategy is just to use it to buy a bunch of rentals,
Yep. 100%. So dude, I'm interested in like the Springfield, like why did you pick these markets? I guess like, and also why not do like syndications and buy like bigger deals? Because for me, it's like the single family, and maybe you have really good property managers, and like that's probably like
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Because like that's what I'm debating too. Is like I've historically done mostly just syndications and stuff like that.
As an LP or as a GP?
LP for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my buddies is like an asset manager for this private equity company that has been doing it for like 4 years. That's usually who I invest with. But
I mean, I'll tell you, for me personally, it's that number one, the amount of effort it takes me to underwrite a multifamily property, and like, because if I'm gonna buy it, I'm buying it myself, or maybe I would hit up you, or I'd hit up Dave and be like, hey, you guys want to buy this thing together? But I bought large multifamily without raising money in the past. And so like 40 unit apartment complexes. And I realized that it's not just a game of looking at the condition of the outside and one of the properties. Like, if you really want to buy a multifamily property, you have to go to the house, you have to go to the property, you have to walk every single unit, you have to do serious systems inspections. That was loud. Serious systems inspections on the roof, on the plumbing, on the foundation, because it's unlikely that if you own 20 single family houses, every single one needs a new roof right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's very likely. So we've had this happen with our apartment complexes, that kind of stuff happens. And I'll give you another thing that happened to us with the apartment. I'll tell you my horror story. This will answer your question with apartment complexes. We made a shitload of money on these, so we kind of flipped them. We've renovated all the units, and we got new tenants in there, increased the rents, and we made money on all of our apartment complexes. But shit would happen. So, for example, one of our apartment complexes, the entire electrical needed to be replaced, and I think that was 110 grand for that. And then the city came to us and said, "Hey, the street." So we had an apartment complex, and there was a street leading up to it. And it was just going to that apartment complex, so there was no like houses or anything like that.
Yeah,
And the
not a
city
lot of
came,
infrastructure on it.
yeah, and the city came and said, "Hey, you guys own that street. That's your responsibility to repave that entire street."
Oh,
And there
fuck.
were like potholes and stuff like that. I think it was just
That shit's
it was
expensive,
gravel.
too.
Repaving a street is extremely expensive. And so like there was that, like a plumbing pipe burst in an apartment complex. It's a bigger deal than if it bursts in a house, because it could literally flood like 5 apartments. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It could be a lot of damage. So I understand. So there's going to be a lot of people that are like, "Dude, you're an idiot. It's way easier to manage an apartment complex." But it's really easy for me to underwrite a single family rental. I don't even have to go see it. I can just get an inspection on the property, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I feel like I do. If I'm going to buy a 40 unit apartment complex, I have to go out and I have to go walk it. And I would be
Your
better at
risk
it
is
now.
your risk is definitely a lot higher when you do a bigger ticket purchase, or a bigger deal.
Yeah.
If it goes down 10% on this one asset, then you might fuck yourself. Whereas your house goes down 10%, it's like, okay, well, not that big of a deal if it's one house.
Also, I don't see significant discounts on multifamily properties. Like, because they got so inflated in 2022, like 2020 through 2022, all the multifamily got so inflated
Mhm.
that I don't see that you're getting, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just not underwriting enough deals. It's not really my space.
Yeah.
But I don't see huge discounts on multifamily like you see in single family. It's easy to get a 25% discount on a 150K house.
Yeah.
Like, anybody can do that. You know what I mean? It's like super easy. They come across every single day.
Yeah. I do
Getting
agree with you. Because, like, for
Yeah.
example, the deals I'm investing in is just basically like a yield play. I'm just basically
Yep.
investing into like an annuity, essentially. Because it's like,
Yep.
8%, 9% year one, and then it improves over the years. So it's like the deal I just did was 10% year one in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's like, I think 170 units, 168 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe, but the point is, like, I'm not getting like an outsized return. I'm also not like putting that money down and like saying like for that deal I put 40K in. So it's not like it was a crazy amount of money, but it's not like it's going to become that 40K doesn't double. Like, if you're buying 25% discount, you put 25% down, you doubled your money essentially.
You doubled your net worth, which is also a cool game, because if your net worth can go up, and eventually you could take loans on all of that stuff, but you're not being taxed on your net worth. You know what I mean? So like, if that money doubles, that's taxed, right? So you get your money back, it doubles, that is taxed, right? Unless it's unless you own it and it's a refi.
Yeah.
So somebody has some questions in the chat. Pivoting to dispo on lease option or wrap as well, maybe next year. Still wholesale and do that exit, maybe 1 or 2 out of every 10 houses. What market am I interested? So Birmingham, Atlanta, Springfield. Those are the markets that I'm looking at right now. Had a property in Normal Heights in San Diego that I structured in a wrap. Had an end buyer already too. Agent and seller were on board, but realtors stonewalled us and deal died. Now it's a short sale. Yeah, realtors suck, bro.
Mhm. Yeah.
Realtors are, I do not like them. In Normal Heights, oh, in San Diego, man, that probably had some meat on it. If it's a San Diego deal. Yeah, I don't know. Chandler, did you want to answer any?
No,
I don't
no, no.
I don't do
Questions,
creative
do
stuff.
regulations worry y'all? Not really. I don't think. I mean, it's just something you have to adapt to. You know, if something changes, you just have to change your strategy. I think if you can't take down properties, you have no ability to do that, then like I would be a little bit more concerned because you just don't have any like other options. But they're never going to outlaw buying low and selling high or buying low and keeping it.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like South Carolina outlawed wholesaling, but I
There's still
know
people doing assignment fees in fucking South Carolina.
a lot of assignment
Yeah.
fees with like no problems at all. Or like remember Atlanta when they like slapped down on direct mail and you had to say this is a solicitation.
Mm-hmm. No
People
one
are
did it.
just yeah, they like changed it and like let's just try to see if we can get away with it. And like same thing with SMS a couple of years ago. It's like, oh, I did hear of somebody recently, one of my buddies did get sued, calling somebody on the DNC list, but it was like 5K or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's making a lot more money than that. And so anytime I hear about these regulations, I think if it's a worry if you're a company like New Western that is the largest wholesaling company in the country. Yeah, you got to regulations affect you a lot. It's kind of like SEC stuff. It's like if you're the scale of Ty Lopez and you're doing shady shit, you're gonna get you're gonna get fucked.
You're
Like,
gonna get busted.
you're gonna go to jail. For like for guys that are selling a 5K course and they make 15K a month and they have an income claim, you're probably going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like you're probably you're probably not gonna get hit. So the same thing with wholesaling. Like if you're probably not doing enough volume to really worry about it, but at the end of the day, the same skills wholesaling, you could pivot that to flipping houses pretty quickly. You just have to have like a little bit of cash to be able to flip houses. So wholesale while you can, save some cash. I haven't heard anything that makes me feel like there's going to be real regulations coming to the market anytime soon. I think realtors are just throwing a fit.
Yep. I'd also agree. I don't think there's like, I think if anything, it's actually becoming more normalized to like do off market stuff. I feel like even more realtors I talk to like are dabbling in the investment side.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's obviously still the same realtors who we all deal with, like the guy who killed your deal and whatever. They're all there's fucking doctors like that too. Like
Yeah.
they're like there's doctors who don't know shit about anything. Like it's just the way it works. There's dumb people everywhere. But yeah, I think like if anything, it's just becoming more and more normal. I think
Yeah.
I think that assignments like it's kind of like how like the world like went like super left wing, like hardcore, like wokeism, cancel everyone, and then
Yep.
it's swung back the other way, and then now it's like finding a middle ground of like what's actually like normal, like what do most people agree on? And it's like
Yeah.
kind of how things work. It's like I feel like that's kind of what might happen. It's like, oh yeah, like slapping the wrist, like one person's made an example of for regulation, and then there it goes the exact opposite, and then it's like mates back in the middle of some like, hey, like let's not be assholes, let's be ethical. Like that's probably what's going to happen.
And as long as you're not the one, like, so we run a very ethical business, like I'll give you a perfect example. We have a seller we're working with right now who I'm literally just going to wire her money. It's not my job, but we put on our agreement, hey, we're going to make sure you walk away with 21 grand in your bank account, like after the liens and everything like that. And the title company is holding $5,000 of her money. And because they haven't cleared a lien yet, they're waiting on Habitat for Humanity. And so I just called her. I was like, look, I'll just send you the $5,000 if you just sign an agreement that says if there is extra money, like it goes back to me. So I'm not out 10 grand, but like we just do ethical business that way. Now that lady thinks it's our fault, so she's not happy, but it's it's the title company. You know what I mean? Like they're holding her money. And so, but like, and it's not my job to send her money, but I will. So as long as you're doing ethical business, there are literally companies out there. We mentioned this a while ago, talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, that they just record memos, and that's how they make their money. Is they just wait till people want to buy the house and they make their money off the memos. Like if you're doing that, yeah, you're probably going to get sued, and and that's going to be illegal, right? They're just going to say, oh, you cannot record memos on properties anymore. And as long as you're working with sellers and being honest with them and you're not trying to screw them, then that doesn't really affect you. I don't, double closing is very easy. So like you can double close even with hard money. You can double close with conventional loans. Maybe they'll tighten up on novations eventually, but I think they've already done that because Fannie and Freddie, they put inside of their guidelines that you can't do novations. So now if you're doing a conventional loan, you have to double close on it. FHA, VA, you can novate. You can't double close on. So like those have already hit. I haven't heard anything since then. That was like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that FHA does is like they limit how much you can do on a consultation fee from the seller.
How much is it? Because we've had a $65,000 FHA novation before. It was a big house though. It was a SoCal house. So what's the limit that they're giving you? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so in Georgia, again, it's all that I didn't get a straight answer. It's very dependent on the price of the home, but I think it's a percentage. If I had to guess, I'm guessing it's about 20% would be my estimation, because they told us it's been like typically ranging between 45 and like 60K depending on the price point, and like those homes are normally like 200 to 300K.
Interesting. So they might have a lender overlay. I used to be a mortgage officer, so they have these things called overlays, which the lender will say, so if the guideline will be from Ginnie Mae, that's the guideline. So they'll write the guidelines, and then the lender can say, oh, well, we also have this rule that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. That's pretty common for mortgage companies to do. So that's helpful for you to know if you're doing a lot of novations. Is if a lender says, hey, you can't do this, ask the lender, is that a guideline from Ginnie Mae, or is that a lender overlay? And usually they're not going to tell you the truth, because they would be like, no, you can only work with me. But if it's a lender overlay, you can just go to a different lender and they'll do it. If it's an actual Ginnie Mae guideline, which you can look up on ChatGPT super easily, then you're not going to be able to do that. But that is something that comes up.
It makes sense that they would have their own like rules. I've never heard of that. That's actually an interesting. Yeah, but we've had to do like basically when that would come up, we'd have to like close it, get the seller to write us like a fraction of the check like outside of closing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's illegal.
But it's definitely like,
definitely not supposed to do that. But yeah, we did not say that there. No. But I mean, that is something that has been really helpful for me with novations, is that I was a mortgage lender. And so I can just talk to the lenders and I can start to sniff out if they're bullshitting me. And so we've closed a lot more novation deals just because I've been able to pick out from lenders who's bullshitting and who's not. They have overlays. You got to watch out for that. Let's talk about the market, bro. I see you typing away over there.
I was typing in the chat to see if I could get your find out if they had any guidelines for it.
Oh, you were looking at ChatGPT?
Yeah. But
yeah, be
what's up with the market? Let's talk about it.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing.
Yeah, dude, you want to go first?
I'll just tell you the biggest thing I'm seeing right now is lead to net is down across the board.
Yes, dude, we were literally talking about this yesterday.
Were you?
Like most people were like 50 to 60%. 60% is like great right now.
So do you remember, I know it's funny because I have like for my advanced students, I have this SOP that breaks out what's your lead to qualified to appointment, and then how to fix each metric.
Yep.
And do you remember 2 years ago, it was 80%. It was like a standard lead to qualified. It's 80% would be like, that's just the average.
Yep.
And I've been running off of that for a while. And I looked at this year, I was like, dude, we haven't hit 80% the entire year lead to qualified. And it's down. So right now
like year over year, like 65% probably.
65
right around
65 is like the new gold standard.
Yeah.
That's like if you see somebody that's running PPC,
calling these people too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So like I'm assuming that people are calling their leads within 3 minutes, and they're calling them 3 times the first day, 2 times the second day, 1 time day 3 through 14. I'm assuming they're doing all of that stuff. And most of our students are. And I know my team is, you know what I mean? And so I can go back and I can look at a report with that. doesn't matter. It's like no matter what you do, lead to net is sub 65%. I think for the
On
year.
PPL, bro, we're at like 40%.
Oh yeah,
PPL is
PPL.
like
But
low.
you're getting refunds on those, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah, for sure.
Who are you seeing work right now for PPL?
I'd say, dude, overwhelmingly property leads is still the
Yeah.
best. I think that they're just I don't know anyone who's doing PPL and not using them really. They're overwhelming. Leads O is probably number 2. And then it's like you got like the other shakers like, iSpeed, motivated leads, which I think they're now need to sell my house fast or something. But
they sold.
I never really I think they sold or something. I never really liked them anyway, so I never really used them much. But
Motivated leads was good for us
Really?
2 years ago. iSpeed Elite has always been our best PPL channel. iSpeed Elite is crushed.
I've heard very few people ever say anything good about iSpeed other than you, bro.
Really, dude, we crush. I think the reason why we do so well is we'll buy the cheap leads that have been called by other people, and we just close better than them.
Yeah.
So like I think that iSpeed the lead, if you're gonna buy the old age leads, it's like may the best man win. And here's what happens. I talk about this a lot. If you're a 10 out of 10 closer and you go up against a 5 out of 10 closer, the 5 out of 10 closer does not get 50% of the deals, and you get the other
0.
They get 0, and the 10 out of 10 closer gets all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I noticed with iSpeed Elite is we'll just buy the old age leads that have been called by like a ton of other investors. And I have my follow-up fortune script to lower their guard, and it fucking crushes. And so the first thing we do is we just like pattern interrupt the shit out of them, and we get into the sales conversation with them, and we'll just outsell everybody else. So that's why iSpeed Elite's been effective in the past. Definitely more of like a dial game, because you go buy an old age lead from iSpeed Elite and half the people already sold.
Yeah.
So you have to go through a lot.
Yeah. I definitely will say, dude, like listening to people's sales calls, most people do suck at sales. Like I was listening to this call from one of my clients, and the lady goes like, it's like newly comes in. Oh, like what, one, like he goes like, just why do you want to sell? Basically some shit like that, like terrible tone. I'm like, oh God. She's like, well, my husband's dead. My husband, she was the son, like the daughter. So she's an inherited house, only heir. So it was a little bit of a messy title situation, but she's like, both the parents are dead. I now have had a stroke, and sorry if you can't hear me, but that's why I'm looking to sell. And guy goes, okay, cool. Like, what's the condition of the problem? I'm like, bro, like, oh my God. Like, you can't even like be like, at least have a little bit of empathy,
Sales is very similar to wrestling or jiu-jitsu, whereas if you don't know how bad you actually suck until you see what somebody good is. So like if you go and you start grappling with like a high level wrestler or somebody that's been doing jiu-jitsu for 2 years, you look like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like you literally look like a baby because of how bad you actually are. And sales is kind of similar. Like some of the, like you'll see these people and they have these huge egos. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a great closer. And their closing process is like, tell me about the condition. Oh, what's got you thinking about selling? What's your time frame on selling? How much are you looking to get for it? Perfect. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get an offer. They do the double hold and call them back. And they're like, oh, I'm the best salesperson ever. You know what I mean? And
you don't
so
even know like why they want to sell. Like,
no, they're like, why do you want to sell? They're like, oh, she's getting really expensive. Okay. Got it. Cool.
Like, I guess like, what do you like? I guess like from a because I've never been like, I'm not like a salesperson. But
yeah, I'm not a marketing person.
Yeah, but just listening to people's sales calls, I'm like, at least I'm a curious person. I want to understand like what's going on.
Yeah,
like what do you mean it's expensive? Like it's just like the natural reply.
You know?
Like
yeah, exactly.
Like, if you care about people and you want to solve their problem, you just figure out what the fuck they actually are dealing with.
It really is that simple. A lot of people need to be trained on how to do that. Because they might ask the question, but they'll ask it super weird, or they just don't ask any questions and they just go, okay, got it.
I do think the biggest thing, and I want to know what you think, because is like listening. I think I think the listening comprehension, and I was like, because I was watching Hermosi just talk about sales, and not that he's the best salesperson, but he does know a couple things about scaling sales teams for sure and doing it fast. But he was just talking about how like he has his sales team memorize the script He literally would write it out and make them like mark one word away and then read the script, mark another word off the script, read the script until they've marked every word on the script off. So it's like becomes subconscious conscious at that point and you're reading the script. But he said once you do that, then you're just listening to the person and then you actually close way better, which makes so much logical sense because if you are thinking about what to say next, you're not actually hearing the small subtleties or the hesitations or the, you can tell when someone's being like, if you're actually listening, you can tell what someone's saying.
Yeah. So I had a guy just join. He's only been in my group for like 2 weeks and hops on. His boss sent in a call review and just was literally like right before this call. And he didn't have the sales process completely dialed in yet, but, and he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't follow the script. And I was like, dude, you killed it because you were listening. And so he asked the seller, what had you looking into this further? And I don't remember what she said, but oh yeah, she said something about her, the stairs being difficult. No, this is a different one. Said something about the neighbors. He goes, oh, what's going on with the neighbors? And like, you can't really script that. You can't script out like saying what's going on with the neighbors, but that's the natural thing that you should do. So when I train salespeople, I don't do script training where I know Hormozy does fucking way more successful than me. So maybe there's something there, but I don't.
He's also selling like gym tickets primarily.
Sure.
Like when he was talking about his, but anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I don't do script training where we're just going to sit there and read the script. It's listening to them and understanding where to go in the conversation. So I'll give them techniques to use for clarifying, probing, going deeper. I'll give them an overall sales process of opening up the call, finding out their situation, going deeper on the problem, finding out their future state. I'll give them a sales process, but I'm never like, hey, pull up the script and read the script and just listen to the seller, because the more you're thinking about what to say, the more retarded you sound. You're like, oh, I'm trying to figure out something to say. And so you're like doing these weird recaps, like, okay, so it sounds like you're dealing with this and you're dealing with that. Okay, got it. And then you're asking a question and it doesn't sound like a natural conversation. And so listening is such a big part. And I think that like you're not a sales guy and I'm not a marketing guy, but you could do well on a sales call and I can do pretty decent at writing some ads because we understand the psychology behind it. If you understand the psychology behind it, then you're like, okay, well, I know how to do it. That's the most important thing.
For sure. Yeah. I think that's a good point. So it's like when you're focused on training your sales guys, you're more so like helping them like understand like what avenues are worthwhile going down and how to explore those essentially.
Yeah. So there's an interesting concept with sales called angles. So what angle to take? So a lot of times sellers will say 3 or 4 different things, like 3 or 4 different reasons why they're selling the house. And if you take the wrong angle, you could just be hitting the wrong vein. Yeah. And so you're not going to have any traction in the call. So for example, we had a seller that came in, and we're like 4 hours of sleep. So I don't remember all the details, but I do remember going over this with my team where one of the reasons that he was he was selling because the house has been vacant for a while, and because it's been vacant, the neighbors are starting to complain. But the real reason was he wanted to honor his aunt and uncle who gave him the house. Basically, they passed it down to him. And so I was talking to my reps. I was like, look, the fact that the house has been vacant for a while isn't the thing that's bothering him. The thing that's bothering him is he feels like he's doing a disservice to his aunts and uncles, or his aunt and uncle that basically raised him. And so that's the angle. That's the thing that he needs the most help with, is feeling like he accomplished that result. And the only way you really can learn how to do that is by actively listening to figure out, okay, what is the main thing? What's the number one thing that's driving them to make this decision? And if you think about it from a marketing aspect, the way that you'll write an ad for foreclosures, right? You want to speak to their specific pain points. You want to help them. I'm assuming, right? You're the marketing guy, but like if you're a good ad, will help them feel like you really understood.
Yeah, they
sales
say like,
calls,
oh, that's me. That's right. That's it.
Sales calls the same way. They want to feel really understood, and when you understand the main driver that's causing them to make a change, they feel understood. It also builds trust. Same way if you had a foreclosure ad that was like, if you're dealing with X, Y, Z, listed it off exactly what the seller's dealing with, they're going to trust you because they go, oh, this person understands my problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like when you miss, because sometimes I'm sure, and again, this is part of the process of learning and getting better at sales. But like, let's say like you miss the angle, because that's going to happen, right? When you notice you miss the angle, like how do you like feel like you divert back to find the right one? Because you know when you start to dead end, you're like, oh, this is not going anywhere. It's like we got to remove to the next place. Like, how do you kind of think about that?
I would go as honest as I possibly can. Well, I guess I'm a little confused because it sounds like things are going, fairly well for you. What's really going on that's causing you to want to do this? And
Yep.
so if you start it with, I guess I'm just a little confused here because the house is cash flowing. It's making you money. The tenants are good. You like them there. I mean, what's even the main reason that you might be looking into this further?
Yep.
Just
No,
to see if it makes sense for us to give you an offer. What's even going on here? And then they're going to be like, oh, it's
Usually right
this,
now,
this,
it seems
this.
like you should just keep this thing,
Yeah, I don't like the Steve Trang style of like negative labeling. He kind of uses a lot. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was a couple of years ago. Or like the Chris Voss, like, oh, it sounds like you just want to keep it. I don't like that. So I just use more of like a curious going into it, looking for the actual vein.
Yeah.
But that can happen if you hit a dead end. You just have to go back and you'll find it.
Yeah.
But if you follow the process, it doesn't happen often. Like if you're really following the process consistently, that's one of the things that is important is if you just do the same thing over and over, you have consistency in your sales process. It's like I find the motivation every single time because I know how to get there. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And even if you don't, like what you said, that's like basically you're like, this doesn't make any sense, So just say that it doesn't make any sense and like what's going on.
Yeah, I'd like to think of it like if you have a thread hanging out one of your suits or something and you start pulling on it and you just start pulling and pulling and pulling. It's kind of the same thing. You just, like you said earlier, man, you just get curious. You're like, oh, what do you mean by expensive? Well, how long has that been going on? You just follow that curiosity vein. And
I have one other question too on top of this. Hermosi said in this video as well. He said the thing that he found, I think it was a study too that he pulled from, but the closers that close the most ask for the sale the most. And so how's your perspective on that? Like, let's say you get someone, they don't give you like a no, you're kind of like handling their objections, whatever. Like, how do you think about like re-asking them just like to put this in writing? Because I think that's an important piece that most people don't like put it back against like, hey, let's get this thing moving.
Yeah, so this kind of comes back to the angles. And so, for example, the seller says like, I don't know that. I probably have to think about this for a while. You go through that objection, find out what their main concern is. I might go right back to, well, what was the main reason that you reached out in the first place? They're going to tell me again, and I'll say, well, does the offer that we gave you actually help you accomplish that? They go, yes. I was like, well, why do you feel like it would? Well, because it does give me the money to do A, B, and C. And that was the most important thing at the end of the day, right? Yes. And so you do see how this would help you do that? Yeah, I do. All right. And then I go in for the close again. And then so I am asking for the sale. I kind of look at it differently. I will find out what their objection is. I'll go through it and then I'll try to close it again. But I mean, one of the things I'm very happy with my closer team right now. I was listening to their calls this morning and I was like, man, these guys really do go for the sale a lot and they're very good. Like they close 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 conversations, like people they speak to, and they don't lose deals from a lack of effort. So I was listening to a call review from one of my newer students just joined the group and he got a partner objection and he just goes, all right, well, do you want me to call you back tomorrow? Just like kind of gave up. He didn't know how to overcome it yet. He just joined. But my team doesn't lose sales due to a lack of effort. Like they'll sit there and they'll objection handle for, 45 minutes, an hour and a half. And in that 45 minutes to an hour and a half, they're probably asking for the sale 5 to 6 times. So they'll go through an objection handler and then they'll go and ask again. After each objection, they're going to try to close it right there. So that is very true. I think what he's getting at in simple words is the closers that just take a no for an answer. Yeah, you're not going to close. Like if you watch any of the Jeremy Minor closers that they all post their sales calls on Instagram now. You'll see somebody literally say like, no, there's no way I would do this. Not even a chance. And then like 30 seconds later, it's a clip of them like closing the deal because they know how to objection handle and then ask for the sale again. You know, that's the way that I would interpret that. Maybe he has a different interpretation, but if you're just quitting after you hear a no, yeah, you suck.
Yeah, well, people give you a no because they haven't fully completed their thought process yet, or they need more information, or maybe like sometimes, I mean, I don't know. It's like you've probably been on this other side of a sales call and you're like, dude, if they just say this one thing, like I'll sign up right now, you know? It's like, but right now it's a no, you know?
Dude, it's funny. I was actually thinking about this because there's a guy who was selling me a service. I'm not going to name who it is. And I was like, this guy's really close to closing me. Like he could easily close me right now. And I'm giving him some objections because like I have some concerns, but like he could overcome them super easily. And I was but he didn't. He just didn't know where to go. And I'll tell you where that comes from. I mean, if you don't know how to go deeper with the seller to find their pain points, if you don't know really what they're looking for, you don't get their future state, you don't have anything to objection handle with. So the reason that people just hear no and they go, okay, and let me follow up with you, is they don't have any ammunition because they didn't go deep enough with the prospect. They didn't go deep enough with the seller. If you go deep enough with the seller, you can say something like, hey, I know it was really important to you to do X, Y, Z. Do you see how our offer would help you do that? Like, yeah, I do. But you didn't go deep enough to even know what was important to them and really why. And so you have no ammunition to be able to objection handle. Or I say objection handle. It's really like, I think you said that beautifully, is help them complete their thoughts. That's the only thing, is help them see that this would actually put them in a better position. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, because it's like they're trying to make a decision that makes the most sense for them at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
that's like, I think everyone like makes an emotional decision, and like I always believe like people make emotional decisions, but if you can logically back it up, then they're going to stick to those decisions.
Yep.
So if you get them in the right spot, and then they're like, then you can like be like, yeah, like this logically makes sense because you want X. We are going to get you X in the time period that you want, whatever. Then they're like, yeah, like that makes sense, and like I'm ready to do it. So it's definitely just like I don't know, like it's definitely, you're definitely like overcoming objections, but you're really just like talking to them and like helping them figure out like what they actually want a lot of the times.
I love telling them. So I use this whenever I do my master classes. It helps people conceptualize this. So you're very close with your dog, right? Like your dog's like kind of your best friend in a way.
Yeah.
Or you're like, not really. I don't know.
I mean, I hang out with my dog every day, you know.
A lot of people like their dog is like their best friend. And so if your dog had a life-threatening surgery that came up and it costs 10 grand, and I don't know, you might not be this close with your dog, but I'll ask you. If your dog had a life-threatening surgery that costs 10 grand, would you say, hey, I'm only doing it if you can do it for 2,000, or would you just pay it?
Dude, nah, I'd probably just
pay
dog.
it. You just get another dog. Most people like, I'll
do it. I know. I'm not that.
Yeah, like my mom has spent like 30 grand on her pet cat, because she was like her pet cat was like her best friend.
I'll say one of my closest friends, my best friend, he offered his ex-girlfriend 20 grand to buy the dog.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. See,
she said no,
so,
by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's why. You have to think, does the money bring you a better quality of life than its replacement? And meaning for the dog, is your quality of life going to be better with the dog or better with the $10,000? Most people will say it's better with the dog. The dog brings me more joy than the $10,000 would, unless you're ruthless like you and you're just like, I'll get another dog. Most people, and it's the same thing with sellers, right? Like they're in a house that's in really bad condition, or they don't like the neighborhood, they don't like the area, so like they have these issues, and what we just have to help them see is their life would be better moving with the offer that they have. Their quality of life would be better moving with the offer that they have than waiting until they get that higher offer. That's all you really have to help them see to overcome a price objection. It's like, yes, your house is worth 300,000. You're only getting 240 because you're doing it quick in 3 weeks, and it's a cash offer, and you don't have to do any repairs. But that 240,000, that is $60,000 difference, whatever that is, right? That $60,000 difference. Would your quality of life be better being able to move right now than waiting for another 2 years to get that extra $60,000? Most of the time, the answer is yes. They just need to realize that it's all about quality of life. That's what we make our decisions based off of. If you feel like you can improve your quality of life, you will do something. If you feel like it doesn't improve your quality of life, you won't. Because that's what people are selfish. I mean, as they should be. They care about their life being better. And some people think their life is better if they have more money in their bank account. But if they really think about it, it doesn't actually change their life. You know what I mean? Like, more money in your bank account does not change your life nearly as much as other things. Like where you live, that changes your life a lot. Who you live with, who you're around, the quality of time you spend with your family, your friends. Those are the things that change your quality of life. So that's what we have to help sellers see.
Yep. Yeah, it's never the 99% of people. I mean, unless like they just don't have equity, like obviously then it's different and they can't bring the cash to the table. But if they have the equity, most of the time it's just the way it's gonna work, like the other things outside of it. Like, I don't know, even if you're like selling something and someone has the money, like there's so many times where I haven't bought something just because I'm like, yeah, that doesn't like actually, it's not worth it, even though I could buy it. It's like,
it doesn't change my life. You know,
it doesn't move the needle, or I don't believe it will.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason.
What's up?
Go ahead. I was just going to say, there's a reason that people will pay for, luxury purses and stuff like that. Is they just feel like it's all about the feeling that they get if they're, using a $12,000 purse. Doesn't make any sense at all. It's all an emotional. It's all based off of feeling.
Yeah.
But anyway, 100%. Go ahead.
Jose asked, do you use, I mean, I don't fully understand it. Do you use a lot of different techniques for realtors? I don't know, Jose, if you're talking about when you're like talking to sellers to list property, or if you're talking to agents to get deals. I know John does. You started, did you work with people doing direct agent? Yeah.
It's just mostly status framing. You kind of have to status frame agents into a yes, because they have huge egos. So you're like, yeah, you see the property you saw the comps, right? It's probably worth like 280 all fixed up. They're like, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like, you know, the game, like, it's probably going to cost 120 grand to fix up. They're like, yeah, I know that. And yeah, you've been doing this for a while. So you understand that the investors are going to need to make 10%. They're like, oh yeah, I get that. Like, it's like status framing them into getting a yes, using their ego for them. It's a very different type of sale than working direct to seller. But yeah, we do work with people in their sales process, for agents as well.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I think sales, you can go super deep. I mean, it's one of those things where it's interesting to seeing like a lot of clients. Like, I had this one situation that happened. I don't know if I talked about it on here or not, but it's interesting to see, like, I had two clients get the same lead. One guy hit me up.
Yeah, he told us.
Yeah, but one guy got it for $45,000 less than the other guy, and closed it out. Where the other dude was giving more money. Yeah, it's like he closed it for a much deeper discount because he was actually able to meet the seller where he's at.
Yeah,
and he'll end up making probably 50, 60 grand on the deal.
Yeah, dude, that happens every single day, man. Like, when you understand sales, and you know this because you help people with their marketing. You can be like, look at all their metrics, and you're like, dude, the marketing's not the problem. You just suck. And what percentage of the time do you think that it's marketing versus sales?
Bro, I'll tell you, whenever I look at someone's lead sheet and like 70% of their leads say want to sell ASAP, and then there's like 10 leads that say like financial distress or like, can't afford the payment, stuff like that. I'm like, why haven't you gotten this signed?
Yeah.
Like, if it says, like, if you have most of your leads say I want to sell it like ASAP on the timeline, and you haven't gotten anyone to agree to selling for a quick cash offer, then something you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, and I got to hop in 2 minutes, but I'll tell you, in my experience, it's less than 5%.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say less than 5% of the time is it the marketing. I've seen, like, there was one guy today, and I was like, yeah, dude, it is. I'll talk to you about this offline. I was like, dude, it is your marketing. Because as soon as they get to an appointment, their sales team was crushing. But prior to the appointment, they were really, really struggling. And so, like, we went through all their leads, and every single one. Yeah, every single one. We could talk about it later, but every single one of them was like, You know, I'm not selling. It was a lot of cold call leads too. Like I'm
Mhm.
not selling. I'd only sell if you gave me a really great offer. It was like every single one was like that. It's like, all right, yeah, you have a
That's
marketing problem for the most part, which is only because I know how good their closers are. I can say, yes, that is a marketing problem. And then as soon as they get to an appointment, they crush.
Yeah.
But I think that's the time we have for today. I got to go hop off. I got a
Yeah.
couple more calls today.
Yep. All right, brother. I will talk to you soon, bro.
See you guys next
See
week.
y'all later.
Bye, everybody.